got the off-road cladding here, the big Scorpion all-season off-roaders, and it has been a great little vehicle. I'm gonna love it for as many miles as they'll let me put onto it. I'm supposed to get my 40 back either tomorrow or Wednesday, but it's been good so far. Good afternoon, YouTube. Here I am in my 2017 Volvo V60 cross country. Means I have all the wagon space in the back and still drives like a car, but this being the cross country, it is the one that's lifted up. I think it's 1.5 inches, 2.5. It's got a not sure why the recording got cut off there. It's got a lift on it, don't know what it is, but because of that, I can just drive right up onto my grass and not have to worry about the curb height. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like here real quick. Not that nobody's driven over curbs before, but it's a pretty good drop. And there is my curb. So that's some pretty substantial height there. Was not expecting to have this car. I had the XC60 last week while we had the issue with the clutch spring retaining pin in the S40, and we got that squared away, but it turns out there's a small piece of plastic within the clutch pedal assembly that is supposed to keep that retaining pin where it needs to be. And I guess after 188,000+ miles of driving with that car, that piece of plastic is no longer wanting to cooperate or behave. So that whole situation is getting replaced in the car, and in the meantime, I've got this here wagon. I do love my little car, but I enjoy having this as well. It's been a lot of fun. I actually took it up to the mountains over the weekend, and it was a pretty remote little cottage, and I'll show a picture of it right now. And that little cottage was a dirt path to get me there, and that dirt path was after a gravel road, and not that my 40 could not have handled the drive, but that car has some body clearance, what have you. It's got the underbody package, so it's got a little bit of a front spoiler and a front lip, and it's lower than this car by a substantial amount. So I knew that I would be able to get there with the 40, but it was safer and easier in this car. I do a considerable amount of driving during the week, both to and from work and then just running errands around town, and I've never been disappointed by the seats in a Volvo car. I like mine most because it's my car and it's been, worn in like a good pair of jeans, but even when I jump into one of these loaners, the bolstering is just right, that you spend a minute or two just playing with the seat adjustments, height or aft, and some of the back bolster, whatever they call it with the air compression. I can't think of that part. The lumbar support, and you just drive away, cruise. One of the only issues I've had with this car specifically, and this is the only time I've ever seen it on one of my loaners, is this car has the climate preferred package, or the whatever they call the winter package for the 2017 model year, and the windshield has a built-in defroster, and it's similar to the technology of the lines built into the rear windshield of most vehicles. But because of the front windshield, they don't want to impede your vision drastically, so it's tiny little lines throughout the whole thing, as opposed to 20 or 30 bigger, more visible lines. And it's one of those where I didn't notice it at first, right when I got into the car, and then I saw them. And now, since I've seen them, I cannot unsee the lines on the windshield. Was talking to some of the Volvo guys that I'm close with, and it's an option that Volvo no longer offers, and it's also something that some people have specifically opted out of when they got their cars. I don't know if that means they chose not to get the climate package because they knew it was going to have the windshield lines, or if there was a way to get the climate package and not get the windshield here. It's one where I don't want to say it's not a bad idea. I know that one of the Mercedes race cars in the late 90s had it, and they didn't want to have the windshield wiper, so they built all this tech into the windshield itself. But that's when you have a race car, you have funds out to play with. For me, this is one of those windshields where it's not going to be an easy replacement, because you have the wiring and some added costs, and not just the standard safe light repair, safe light replace kind of thing. It is not an option that I would have chosen. Again, I don't necessarily see the need for it. I also don't like looking at these lines. When I can park the car at the right angle, I'm going to see if I can get the camera to pick up on them without it just looking like a blurry shot. And we'll see if you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. It's a strange thing. Again, that's the only part I don't like for sure about the car. The Sensus infotainment system is a little quirky sometimes. I think it may have been co-developed by or with Audi. I could be wrong, whoever they sourced it from, because it was very similar to the tech in my 2012 A4, using the dial to spin around. Just the UI looks very similar to Audi's from then. And there's a lot of back and forthing to get simple things done. Whereas in my 2010, if I push the exit button twice, I'm back to the home screen. Here you actually have to pick a sub-screen to get to. There isn't really one home screen. But then again, that's what you get, with 8 to 10 years of difference in between the vehicle technology. This specific car has the 8-speed automatic, which shows in the gas mileage. It's an all-wheel drive giant wagon, and right now I'm averaging 24 miles a gallon. I've done maybe 500 miles since I've taken possession of it, maybe 600 miles, and it's not ginger 55 miles an hour the whole way. It is me playing with the car a little bit, seeing how you can throw it around a little bit. It's no sports car. It does have a higher center of gravity, so it doesn't ease into the turns like a lower sports vehicle would. But it gets the gas mileage that you would expect of a smaller vehicle, not a 5-passenger off-road with plenty of luggage space. I'm sure that some people might say it could use a third row, but putting seats back there would be way too tight, and it's really not meant to be that big of a vehicle. It's just taking the people that want the S60 and giving you some more storage space. The load level is a little bit high. Not that it's a bad thing for most people. I'm 5'3", so getting stuff all the way to the back of the vehicle can be a little bit tricky, but on the other end of that same spectrum, the seats fold flat the whole way, and you have both doors on the side to get in. One more thing I do not like about this, and again, that helps with the that 24 miles per gallon, is it has the auto engine start stop, and not that I don't like the technology behind it. I understand the concept. Right now I'm stuck in traffic crossing a bridge, I hit the brakes, the car stops, and the motor shuts off on me. The part I really don't like is it's a stutter to get it back up and running. I don't know why I want it to be a little bit more of a smooth transition, but it is what it is. And it's one of those things I kind of wish I could turn it off and not have it be an option. There's a button on the dashboard to kill the feature. I'm going to turn it off right now. Now the engine is just going to run as it wants. But I've not been able to find a setting in the vehicle settings to adjust that, to keep it off all the time. Most of the other things you can set and hold. This specific vehicle does not have the option to adjust the steering feel. Some of the higher end models, you can adjust the tightness of it. I think they give you 3 or 4 settings, light to extreme or whatever they call that. But all in all, the 2017 V60 cross country, this car now has 22,018 miles on it, currently for sale at Lehman Volvo in Mechanicsburg. They have always done me very well, whether it's a small project on the vehicle or a larger one. I actually had a friend that had the valve stem covers were stuck on the vehicle, and I had it for the day. It wasn't even a Volvo car, but we swung out back. They got them, unstuck for us and took care of it. I'm not going to say who the competitor is. My brother has a vehicle. He bought it new from the dealership, and unless he's having major work done to the vehicle and it needs to be there for 2, 3, 4 days, they don't really have much of a loaner fleet to offer, and it makes things very difficult and very complicated for him. Whereas I bought my car used in 2013. It's a 2010. I bought it with 73,000 miles on it. I take it to Lehman, again in Mechanicsburg, and they take care of me for every little part of that car, whether it's getting my wheels swapped out, body work, maintenance, anything. They've really taken care of me and that vehicle, and it's gonna hit easily 250 by them, and maybe I'll catch up with Irv Gordon one day. Who knows? We'll see. But I think that's enough of me ranting about this car for today, and we'll see what the next video has to offer. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to hit that red subscribe button. Make sure you click that bell to get all the notifications, and I will catch you on the next video.